everyone, it's Nick here again with Nick's 80's hard rock CD collection. Hope everyone's doing well. The band we're going to look at today is another, obviously, hard rock hair band from the 80's. Now, this band have been around for a long time, actually, quite a while. And we're talking about the band Ratt. There we go, Ratt. Now, this band came from Los Angeles, and they pretty much started out probably about 2 to 3 years after Motley Crue first started. So they've actually got ties. Actually got friendly ties with Motley Crue. Those guys were they were good friends with each other back in the early days. Now, their first album they released was called Out of the Cellar, and this was released in 1984. Here's a picture of the band here. I might as well go through the band members there. On the far left is Warren DeMartini, the guitarist. On the drums, next to him on the drums, Bobby Blotzer. Next to him in the middle is Stephen Pearcy, the lead singer. Next to him is the other guitarist, Robin Crosby. And on the end there is Juan Croucher, I think it's pronounced, I don't know. Juan, it says there anyway, so yeah, but he's a bass player. Now, Ratt, yeah, this is their first album, 1984, and it had immediate success. I actually used to have this back on cassette, but I lost it a long time ago. And it's full of really catchy songs. I can't tell you how catchy the songs are. Now they had hit singles like Wanted Man, You're in Trouble, Round and Round. Now the song Round and Round was a massive song for them, and that got them a lot of airplay on MTV music videos, and also in the charts as well. And they were really building a massive fan base worldwide, especially with the song Round and Round. It's just a catchy song. If you look at the film clip, it's a bit of a cheesy film clip, but well, they all were back then, weren't they? Back in the early 80s, the film clips were a bit dodgy, but great fun film clip, and just a really catchy, great song. So that was 1984, and this went multi-platinum. It, as I said, a great debut for a band, and obviously they had the well, not so much pressures, but they were in the same spotlight as Motley Crue. Motley Crue were getting bigger and bigger as the years went on. So there we go, Out of the Cellar, a fantastic debut album. Now the following year was follow-up album, Invasion of Your Privacy. Now this was equally as successful, multi-platinum again, and it had hit songs like You're in Love and Lay It Down. They were the hit songs. There's a few little photos, and it was the same lineup as before. And the thing I noticed about Ratt is that they had a formula with their music. It was a very straightforward formula with catchy hooks and obviously catchy guitar riffs and all that. And they actually used a well-known producer back then. His name was Beau Hill. Now, he was renowned for working with hard rock bands, and he actually produced Ratt's first album, and he's also produced records for Warrant and Winger. He did one of Europe's albums, so he's very renowned and very well respected in the hard rock scene. So anyway, Invasion of Your Privacy, released in 1985, and just pretty much the same as their first album. And that woman there on the front, she's a model, and she actually went on to marry David Coverdale, the lead singer of Whitesnake. So there's a bit of history in regards to that model there on the front cover. I think her first name's Tawny. I think it's Tawny, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so Yeah, there we go. Anyway, so that was 1985. This album. Now 1986 was was the next album called Dancing Undercover. Now, by this stage, Rat were feeling the pressures of success. They were becoming big, and a lot of pressure was put on them. They were obviously very tired from world tours and the such, and of course, record labels put so much pressure and responsibility on bands to come up with a big next hit single or a big hit next record album, and Rat were really starting to feel the pressure, and there was a bit of in-house fighting between the band members. It was starting to show, so it wasn't all glam and glitz and all that. They're only human. Bands go through troubles, obviously, and a lot of critics were saying that Rat should have become bigger. They should have become bigger and bigger. Even the next Bon Jovi or the next Motley Crue, and they were heading in that direction. But as I said, the pressures that was put on them was just very extreme, and this album showed it. They were rushed into the recording studio by the record label to make this album, and they literally. Unfortunately, by this stage, the band was hardly talking to each other, which is sad, because they had so much promise and so much potential. But this is a great album, and believe it or not, I actually preferred this album in regards to their second album. Now, I don't know, but I just found that this album, their second album, didn't have the catchiness. It still had catchy songs, don't get me wrong, but it didn't have the catchiness of, obviously, their first album and their third album. Now, that's just a personal opinion. Everyone's got their own opinions. But don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking this album. Second album, great album, but I actually prefer their third album. They had a few sort of hit singles, like one was called Dance, Drive Me Crazy, and Body Talk. They were sort of singles, and this went multi-platinum again. So they had sorry, what I'm trying to say is, even though there were troubles, on the horizon for the band and pressures, as I said, they still had a massive loyal fan base, and as I said, they had that formula for writing catchy songs, and they certainly took advantage of that. As I said, they were great mates with the guys from Motley Crue. Now, they've done tours with the likes of, even Bon Jovi, Poison, Motley Crue. They've even played on stage with the likes of, Iron Maiden and stuff like that. So they've well and truly mixed with, big names. Now, Rat have released about three more albums. I am in the process of trying to track them down. As I've said previously, in regards to albums, some of them are very hard to get, especially on CD, since CDs aren't exactly the favour of the month, favour of the decade at the moment. CDs are slowly on their way out, but I will track them down. If I've got to get them overseas, well, so be it. But yeah, they've still got another 3 or 4 after this one. But yeah, in regards to Rat, very catchy songs, really catchy songs, as I said, especially this first album. And if you want to compare them, you can compare them to Bon Jovi, Poison, Motley Crue. They were just that kind of band. But you can see they're all decked out in their good old 80's gear there. Unfortunately, that guy there, Robin Crosby, the guitarist, he died a few years ago. He tragically died. He had a few personal issues as well. So, he's sadly departed. Now, there's been a few lineup changes in regards to Rat over the years, and but I'm not going to go into that because it'd just take too long to go through it all. But this is a classic lineup, and this will be forever remembered as the classic Rat. So yeah, there's Rat. Good sing-along band. Good, good, happy, fun band. And they really did take the heavy metal, well, not so much heavy metal music, hard rock, hair band music. They had a lot of success, especially in the early 80s. And yeah, I thoroughly recommend Rat. I think a lot of people sort of tend to forget about them. They tend to remember, the likes of Motley Crue and Poison and Bon Jovi, and I think Rat seems to be forgotten sometimes. But they were a great band. Anyway, that's Rat, and the next band I will look at is let's see. I was actually, speaking of bands, I was trying to do a Motley Crue video, but for some reason it was not working for me. I don't know what's going on. It wouldn't show the whole of the video, so I had to scrap Motley Crue, which I wasn't happy about, to be honest, because I love Motley Crue. Anyway, what we'll look at next is we'll look at a band called let's see.